Sick of AI being everything. Like, I just want to talk to someone on the phone instead of a little bot who doesn't understand anything. So long as something is cheaper, people will always do it. I think the only way things will change is if it hurts someone's wallet. So like, if you don't like the customer service is always some sort of bot trying to help you instead of a person, then you have to take your business elsewhere where they use people for that. Thing is, no one does that. So, you know, if you don't like a thing and you boycott it properly and that company loses revenue and you're like, the reasoning is because you do this, then they might change it. But it doesn't really happen in practice. I'm a firm believer that like the world doesn't change until people get hungry. So anything people say they're going to take a stand for, or like they really don't like or they really don't want, they're just going to put up with so long as they can keep like eating food and watching TV. I think that's just kind of like how things are. I'm not saying this to be ultra cynical or anything. This is what I've noticed. It really, like, no one goes out of their way to like heavily boycott a thing, inconvenience themselves, you know, use a different service, blah, 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 until like things are bad for them. So as long as soda is like 2 cents per giant soft drink, you know, people are gonna be fine. That's how I feel. Boycotts hardly ever work. Yeah, I think most people don't want to commit. They don't really want to commit to that. I also think people call upon boycotting every little thing. And I think the more you do something, the more it feels less impactful. So when people are like, I don't like this, so I'm gonna boycott it, it kind of has lost its value. And it's less of someone taking a stand and more of them just being like, yeah, I just don't like it, right? It just feels more casual and not that important. So yeah, I think stuff like that doesn't really work well nowadays. Listening to a company call where they wanted to use AI to replace their call center workers because all the interactions are largely scripted anyway and nobody wanted to do it, in quotes. Yeah, I mean, it's cheaper to use an automated system like that. And no, okay, this is actually true. A lot of people don't want to do jobs that are grueling and difficult in the US. There are people who will do these jobs, but there isn't the amount of people needed willing to do that shit. But in other countries, there are. So this is something that's true in certain industries that I know from people around me, you know, talking about it all the time. A lot of jobs that are hard labor, they cannot like get an American high schooler to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do that for my career. Genuinely. In nursing, there are never enough nurses because people know it's grueling work and they don't want to do grueling work. You work landscaping, you can't find anyone nowadays? That's another good example, landscaping. Yeah, because you don't get paid well. These are people who never got paid that well, but it's even worse nowadays. You don't get paid well. You don't get treated well, typically. It's often backbreaking, is often physically demanding or really mentally demanding, right? If you're like in a call center all day, and people just don't want to do it. They'd rather be jobless, you know, or like take a worse job money-wise so that they don't have to deal with, you know, the strain. And people genuinely just don't want to do it. So stuff like call centers, no one wants to work in them. So yeah, they either outsource it or, you know, they're just turning to AI because you need a call center. You need something. The cheap landscapers are due to bad. The good ones are due to expensive. Yeah, there's like no in between. It's crazy why plumbers are so expensive. I used to say it all the time to a lot of folks. I'd be like, you should go into trades. You should look at plumbing. You should look at construction. Construction is maybe a little worse of an industry. You should look at being an electrician. You should look at being a steam fitter. Random like this that you can get a good job in. Go become a tradesman and you get paid well. If your goal is I need to be paid well and I don't want to do a super like brainy job, then that's what you do. But a lot of people would hear it and go like, oh, a trade, and everyone would act like they're so much better than a job. I don't think anyone is better than a job. If it pays you and you can do it without wanting to die, okay, hell yeah. Like there's no, I don't know. People have this idea of themselves in their head and they're like, you know, don't want to be a tradesman because they see it as lesser maybe, but dude, and trades can be brainy. Yeah, it's more so the perception that they're not. Depending on what you're doing, it really can be. Fixing physical things will always be good money. Always. And you can outsource it if you like bring someone in from another country to do it, quote unquote, but that person has to physically be there, okay? You cannot outsource that job like remotely, you know? So that's something that will always exist. I know some people that did become tradesmen kind of against all the people saying, oh no, don't do that, oh, it's terrible work, whatever. They're all chilling. A couple friends in construction really like needed to get out of it and get into a different trade because it's so backbreaking, but that's what they did. They just went into a tangential trade, something kind of similar but not exactly the same, trained up in that, and they're all doing well and they're all getting paid more than a lot of my other friends that went for like normal office jobs where they thought they were like somehow better for wearing a normal button-down shirt every day and sitting at a desk. I don't know. It's interesting.